All right. Thanks everyone for joining us today here. And this is one of those first times I'm doing this kind of live streaming my, uh, from my video camera here in my office. Yes, behind me you can see a lot of my kids' pictures and painting. So this is my comfort zone here, and I'm looking forward to having a great webinar with you. And I want to thank you, all of you, for coming over today to our webinar to learn more about the Microsoft Project Online collaboration. And we're very much excited to have you here. So I'll start, and as always, feel free to use that chat window where we have some of the initial conversations started about the quality of the voice and the screen sharing. So I hope you can see the screen, and you'll hear me. And feel free to ask questions along the way, which we'll have time to answer after the webinar. Okay. Again, thanks for coming. And this is also a kind of unique situation for the webinar, for any presentation, because this is the first time for me I'm going to be doing the presentation using Sway. Okay, so we're going to talk about all kinds of methods of communication, all kinds of technology that in our possession for our communication, and we bring the Sway to this one. And what you see here is basically, if I just exit the full screen mode, this is the sway.com Microsoft Office 365 solution that is allowing you to quickly share the content, well, not just within your organization, but you can actually go beyond that. So, and this is the experimental way of doing that, and I think it's working fine for me. This is Sway. Again, this is not going to be a Sway webinar, but this presentation is built on Sway. So if I just simply go to the next slide in this way and start talk quickly about, just a few words about me, about us, and we'll get to the demo and content. My name is Alex Rodov. I see some of the familiar faces and familiar names here on the list of participants. So some of you already know me. I'm a PMP, Project Management Professional, certified by PMI. Microsoft Most Valuable Professional in project and business productivity area. Proud to be that MVP for 5 years right now. We're a Microsoft Gold PPM partner, right? So I'm managing partner of the Microsoft partner. Well, that's how it is. Anyway, so we are here to talk about the Microsoft Project Online content and collaboration. So let me just move on to the next slide. Yes, this presentation is going to be recorded and will be shared. So not just this way. Well, obviously I will share this way. But we will also share the recordings. I will be showing a lot of tips and tricks how to get to different things, and there's be a lot of clicks. So don't worry if you don't catch all that. It's going to be recording, so you'll be able to replay all these steps, all over again, and you won't miss anything. Okay, but that's I just wanted to kind of compress, into this 1 hour webinar as many things that we've picked up over the course of a couple of last years, with the new features of the Project Online. All right, and just for the years and years of experience with PPM Microsoft solution. Just check one thing. Okay, you should still see me. Okay. All right. Yeah, Mark. Yes, sounds good. Sound is good. Sound is good. Okay, good. So if I go back, and you're going to be talking about the communication, right? There's a real estate karma saying location, emphasizing the importance of the location for the real estate, but for the project management, and you can find it in any kinds of books. You can find it in PMI, knowledge, book of knowledge. You can find it in any other agile methodologies or any other expertise, any other areas of knowledge or experience or expertise around the project management, how to deliver projects efficiently, communication is one of the many keys, and one of the most important ones. And even for the project manager job description, it also often mentioned that you should have at least 70 or 80% of the project manager's job is actually to communicate, right? So by that token, it's extremely important discipline or aspect of project management. So enough of that. I wanted to emphasize on something that even though we have technology starting from the phones like this on this picture, down to internet connection, and now we all you can all see me now, right? And I can communicate and share my screens and share my body language. You can read from that as well. So even though we have all this technology in our possession, right, we still a lot of times are failing to communicate, right? So even though the technology is out there enhancing us, we need to be able to learn how to use it in order to be efficient in our communication. So in this regard, I'm suggesting that we all try to learn how to use this technology best. Okay. Well, that's pretty neat. Hi, this is Sway. This is not a PowerPoint. This is Sway. I put this together very quickly. Well, I had to learn, but I guess you can just put these things 1, 2, 3, and this is all nicely shaping up. Anyway, agenda. We're going to go through the overview, right, in particular overview of the collaboration space in Project Online. We're going to be mostly talking about the collaboration and its features within the Project Online. The OneNote. OneNote is another add-on as it's integrated into the project site. The documents, all kinds of document repositories and versioning and all kinds of that. Power Apps and Flow. Guess what? We will build on the fly. We will build an app for the phone today during this webinar, live, right, from scratch. And we actually will see how it's working. We will build a simple app that will basically, as a new document, gets uploaded to the SharePoint repository. It creates, you can actually push and request the approval of that document. We'll just make it just a simple scenario, okay? But we will do this live, and it'll be a lot of clicks, right? So again, don't worry, you will get the recording, and then you can always reproduce this. Integrated with Outlook. So I will show some of the things that are seamlessly integrated with the Outlook right from the SharePoint site. So we'll do this, and also once we work on our configure or adjust or tune up our site, and let's say we would like to like our all projects to have the similar configuration for all of our other projects, then we can just simply make it as a template, and then going forward, every new project will actually have this exact settings of its project site. Okay, so that's the agenda. Okay, let's go. All right, quickly the overview. I know it's been confusing about people saying and throwing some names like Office 365 tenant or instance, or it just kind of got confused, or Project Online or SharePoint Online. And I mean, how does it all playing together? Okay, let me just show you something here. So first of all, Office 365, right, is the top level Office 365. When your organization signs up for the Office 365, then you have this one called One Office 365 tenant. That's the tenant. Okay, that's where everything that is part of the Office 365 sits underneath of that Office 365 umbrella. Okay, so that is where it's all. And when people say multi-tenant Microsoft, what they mean is that Microsoft has this cloud where all the tenants are participating in one cloud. So it's called multi-tenant client. So these are all the tenants for your organization, from other organizations. They're all kind of using this cloud concept. But your tenant is yours, secure, and only yours. Okay, so only people who are authenticated within your own Office 365 can access everything underneath. So let's just go one level down. Outlook, right? Word Online, Project Online. Well, let's just say uh, not Project Online, right? The Outlook, the Word, the Excel, Dynamics, and then bigger box, which is the SharePoint. See that SharePoint Online? So that SharePoint Online. Well, before we dive any further, all these level 2 items like Outlook and Excel, these are kind of apps, right? These are the apps of Office 365. You can have the Sway, well, among these, right? The Sway, the Flow, the all kinds of other apps that are underneath. So structurally, under SharePoint Online, you have different sites, different SharePoint sites, okay? So, and one of these sites could be your corporate SharePoint Online site where you have all your corporate information, like I don't know, newsletters. Then you may have an HR SharePoint site, right? Portal or whatever. This is all sitting under project and under SharePoint Online. Sorry, keep saying project. Under SharePoint Online. So, and you see that Project Online is one of the sites that is sitting under SharePoint Online. So, and sometimes, a lot of times actually, these corporate SharePoint Online or SharePoint Portal, Project Online, these called SharePoint Site Collections. Well, SharePoint Site Collection, that's how the terminology is. So, and then under the Project Online, this is the big green box over here. This is your like PWA. This is your Project Online Web App, PWA. This is your Project Online Site Collection. This is the key, the major site where all the project centers, all the projects and resources are. So for each project, though, you may have this project site, which is, as you see on this picture, is a subsite of that site collection of Project Online, PWA. Okay, so the PWA is site collection, Project Online, where underneath, as a subsite, you would have project sites. And these are specific dedicated project sites dedicated for each project separately. Okay, so the permissions and everything is seamlessly integrated. So when you add in someone to your project, it automatically has access to your project site. In most of the cases, right? Depends on how you configure it. So I just wanted to kind of have a quick overview of that. So I've heard a lot of confusion around the site and subsite and site collection and SharePoint Online and how does it all play together. So this is just a simple way of presenting that. And you can have, you know, as many site collections as you want. You may right here, right next to the Project Online, can have a Project Online dev environment. That would be sitting right next to it, right? Like staging environment or any other additional Project Online environment that you need for your maybe training purposes or sandbox or something like that. Like in our organizations, we have like 5 different ones. I mean, we have one primarily for the production environment, but we have all kinds of demos. And the one I'm going to be showing you the demo on is one of our additional Project Online instances that we provisioned as part of the SharePoint Online site collection. So I know it's a SharePoint Online site collection. It's a lot of words, but feel free to ask a question about that, and I hope this picture kind of clears things out. All right, moving on. So the first topic is a OneNote, and I know that I don't want this webinar to be about the OneNote, but very quickly, the OneNote has this very simple structure, and if you don't see it, you don't have it in your head, it's hard to understand. Okay, OneNote, do I have pages? Do I have sections? Do I have books? So this is simply this. You have your notebooks, right? Consider this as a shelf. On the shelf, you have like 3, 4, 5 different notebooks. One notebook for your home, like your home stuff. You keep notes for your, home, family or whatever. And then the second book is your work, right? And the third book is your, I don't know, hobby when you fly Cessna or something, right? So you have these books that are basically segregated from each other, okay? Then within the book you can have different sections, and within those sections you have pages. That's that. Just simply notebook is big book, and then section is within one book. You may have multiple sections, and then page within the section, okay? So this is one of our environments. This is one of our, sandbox where, we provision this and we kind of experiment and play with different things, and we show on the webinars, on conferences and things like that. So I have, simple projects here, and well, there's a lot of weird names here, but I'd like to get into this 0003 Alex 1, whatever the project is. So every project in my case here has a project space, project collaboration space. In other words, it's project site, which is a subset of the main site collection. So in order to get to this site, I can, I guess the easiest way to get to that site is, you see that 3-dot menu over here. So this 3-dot menu, and if I drill further, find another 3-dot menu. So it's 1, 2, 3 clicks, basically. 3 clicks, I can get there very quickly. I mean, the other options to get there. So go to SharePoint site. If I click that, it will get me there. But there's other way to get there. If I just click on this project, it will get me to like this default PDP, and then here on the project tab, there's a button that says project site. So I can click on that, and it will take me to the project site. And if I just quickly go back, the other way is also when I am on, inside of the project and looking at the PDPs here, I can also click on this project site button here. It will also take me to the same place where it says project site. So here now we are at the project site. I didn't want to make it a fancy one. I mean, that you can customize the SharePoint sites so they don't look like SharePoint. So I've heard people, have preconceived notions about the SharePoint, especially when it was back in 2007. The usability or friendliness of that were not necessarily, at people's expectations level. So anyway, you can customize it to like whatever you want. But I'd like to show you what you're gonna have out of the box without doing anything, right? And that's the key, right? We are working with Microsoft to getting whatever Microsoft is researching and putting out there as a technology. We're just taking that and putting it into people's hands. And what you're gonna have out of the box is this, all right? So again, you can design the layout of this and move the web parts the way you want it, and we can show you some of that very quickly. But I wanted to talk about quickly the notebook, this little notebook. I've seen people are basically disregarding it because they don't really use the OneNote. But this is a great way to use the OneNote. If I click on this notebook over here, it will take me to this 0003 Alex 1 notebook. And this is, guess what? This is the notebook that is created for each project and is saved. This notebook is actually on its own place, and it's on the right place, on the right shelf, which is the project site. So you quickly get to this OneNote books, and you can see there's sections here. You can add a new section. This is Scrum meeting notes, right? Scrum meeting notes, and I'm having a new section for Scrum meeting notes, and say maybe I'm gonna have a page for every meeting that I have. during my Scrum meeting, right? Isn't that cool? And guess what? This is all going to be saved and stored into the project site. But there's one more thing that I would like to show you, and this is my demo calendar. So if I have a meeting here, and let me quickly put a new meeting, say new Scrum meeting. You may want to say, why are you showing us the calendar? Let me show you. This is the calendar where you have the notes that are saved on the project site. You use the project site to keep all this central for the project, so everyone can actually use that. So this is the meeting. Let's say you had this meeting today, and you'd like to save some notes. You click on that meeting notes. It would launch your meeting, your OneNote desktop application, and I'm going to say take the notes on my own, and it's going to push this. It's going to suggest to put it into a certain book, but I know that I'd like to use the book that is open other notebooks. Open, and I have this 003 notebook. And in my book, I already have, I was going to load it, it already have a Scrum meeting notes. Remember, I just created this, right? Scrum meeting notes. And here I'm going to say, oh, I'm going to put my all notes in here. Or I can use the dedicated meeting notes book, and then add some notes and then save it. It's all synchronized and saved in the project site. Okay, so you can use the OneNote and easily, if you just say notes, this is notes here, right? Notes here, and then I don't even need to save anything. It's just automatically gets saved. If I click on this and I can meeting notes, and I can find this note. And I go to my book. See, notes here. That's the meeting that we're saving this notes for. Anyway, the Outlook is very much good. Very much well synchronized with the OneNote, and the reason I'm saying is now in content of the SharePoint site, the project site, is that you have a separate book for your project where you can keep all the notes in sync, and have the team members to actually also put their notes in there as well. So you can have one book where you can search and get some notes. If I just simply go back here, I'll go back to my site, and I look quickly at the content, site content. I'm just going to open another, look at the site content. I can look at the site content, site assets folder, and this is where my file, where the book is getting saved. So that's basically the shared file of the OneNote where I can keep all my notes. All right, enough of that. We may run out of time, so I don't want to spend all the time today. The next topic is the documents. So documents, and this is where I quickly want to go through simple steps. Each project site would have this documents folder, for which you can look at the library settings and look at all kinds of additional settings for this particular document library. But what you can do is simply this. You can create all these new folders here, all these new folders or files using just this quick new button. You can also just simply upload it, and you can upload it by simply looking at some of the images of my pictures. Just upload our logos here. I'm going to quickly upload some of these files, and just drag and drop in my folder, and voila, I have all my files that I wanted in my folder. Here I can enable or disable this filter. This is a new feature here. So I can either see, my, filter this by JPEG, JPG files or PNG files, and I can quickly get to the content, and I can also create a new file, let's say new Word file. Let's click on Word, and it's going to automatically launch the Word Online. So I can create a new file or content. Right. So see, it's automatically say you don't have to click on anything. Very easy, very intuitive. So it's now saving and saved. Right. If I go back, I can already see this new document. Well, this is so many. That's a new document, right? So this is very easy to manage here. But I also wanted to show you if I just go and change this document, and you will see why I'm doing this. I want to just add something new to this document. Say new comment. I just need to do it. Open in Word Online. Or I can open it in Word, right? If I just say new comment, right? It's saved, and if I go back, refresh this, it will keep the versions of these documents. So every time, let me show you how to get to these versions. So again, three-dot menu, right? And the three-dot menu, I can get to the version history, right? When I can look at the version history, I can look at all kinds of information. So I have 3 versions, and the latest version is number 3 at 2:27 p.m., right? And I can actually restore the older version of the document. And we can keep either a limited number of documents, number of versions, or maybe a limited last 50 versions or something like that. So there's a lot of features that you can use in a document repository. But another feature that I think the most important one is the ability to create a folder on your own laptop. So you can actually on your own laptop, so you can actually just work within your folder. Grab the files from there, put it back there, and have it seamlessly integrated with this particular library. So everyone else who participates in this project will be able to actually take advantage of those documents. And you see there's additional filters that showed up, modified since yada yada. So I can quickly search some of the latest documents. Anyway, remember how often you click on this modified by, modified button to sort and see when I see the most recent ones. So you can have more advanced features like that. So anyway, let me show you how to bring this over to your laptop or PC as an additional folder that is synchronized. So here's this. Sync this library to your computer. Just simply click on this. Well, in order to do that, I need to have OneDrive for Business. And again, it may be up to the kind of licenses you have right now, but you would need the OneDrive for Business for this. Well, since I already have it installed, I'm just going to simply click on now. What it does, it's going to bring this particular folder, this particular document library, as part of my project, over to my computer. And if I click on OK, the next thing it tells me that your files are syncing as we speak. And show my files. It will take me to that folder. There it is. And there's my folder. Here's my files, right? That's the one that I just created. If I just look at it, this is exactly the one file that has new comments at the end, right? So I can, where is this file? Where did it go? Where did it go? There it is. So I can open this file and can modify it here using my Word document, using my Word application, and push it back, and it will be synchronized back to the SharePoint Online here, right? Back to this SharePoint site library. All right. So you got that, and well, you're interested. Well, what is it flow here doing, right? So, and this is where we're going to actually, create the flow. I'm gonna do a lot of clicks, probably. So sorry if I'm just too quick on this, but I do want to squeeze a lot of things into this webinar. But let me show you how to create a flow. So what is it gonna do? So basically, I would like to create a flow that would trigger the approval process. And this flow with the approval process will be triggered by a push of a button on your mobile phone, right? I do have a mobile phone here, and you see that some of the screens. I mean, you would not need to see the whole details of it, because there's going to be one big button that says approve or reject. So I'll just hope that you will be able to see that by me showing you on the screen. So anyway. Again, the business objective for this particular case is this: create an app for Android or iPhone. It's actually going to work on any Android or iPhone platform, because it's a completely web-based app. The app that you can list your documents. You look at your documents, actually request the approval for some of these documents. So let's say you put in this. The requirements document, right? You put the requirements document, and you want to push the approval process, kick off the approval process for that document. So how do we do that? In order to create an app, we will be using the Power Apps. So Power Apps, in order to build an app using Power Apps, you need the Power Apps application, which is the Power Apps Studio. Well, don't be afraid of that word studio. In this case, this is what I'm using right now. You just simply go to the store, right? The Microsoft Store, and here you would just go and look for Power Apps, right? Power Apps, and then there you go. Since I already have it, I have just launched that, right? Okay, just go close this one. See, I have it already installed, so I'm just launching this. This is just free, no charge or anything. You can create the flow. Okay, you can create an app. So I'm going to create a new app, and I'm going to use this SharePoint. It will start with your data. So there's some standard connections out there. There's a lot of different other connections. You can see there's all kinds of Salesforce, and you can explore that further. But I'm just going to do the phone layout, the SharePoint phone layout application, and I'm going to use my site, and my site name is basically PWA / and then there's like site name, and then that's all I need to put in here. So that's my site. I'm going to say go, enter the list name. So my list name called documents, right? Documents, and click on this connect button over here. And what is it going to do? I'm just going to watch the studio is actually building the app for me, right? Isn't it cool? This is very cool. So what it just did, it just created an app, right? Well, I obviously need to massage it a little bit to make it just looking at how big my arms are when I'm pushing this like this. Sorry. So I need to massage it a little bit. I want to see this like weird shared something, like a path to something. I'd like to replace this with actual document name, right? And here, when I'm having my just mouse, you click on that title object here. I can replace this and put a name in a name, right? So it's using a file name to list all these documents. So as soon as I create a new document, oh, if I go and create a new, say I'm gonna Excel book, create a new Excel book, right? I go back to my app, refresh this. There's the book, right? A second ago it wasn't here, but you see it's connected to that SharePoint site. So there's an app that is connected to my SharePoint site that is looking at my documents. And the next thing I want to do is I want to when I click on this error, I can simulate what kind of details I get. So when I click on this error, I can look and say maybe I want to see the name, I want to see created by. I want to see when it was created, modified, by who modified this. Well, it's enough, right? And then I also I have a button here, so I'm going to insert an icon. I'm going to use that icon as a button. I mean, I can insert the real button, but I just like I like to use the star. Let's use the star. Use the star. So if I can move this a little bit over here, so you see I'm using some of this alignment. So I want to be here, and I'm going to insert a label that says click to request approval, right? So we'll use that. It's very simple. Okay. So when I do this and I click on this star, just want to first shorten this a little bit. So when I click on this, I want to use the action. So for action, I'd like to use the flow. And for the flow, I'd like to create a new flow. Create a new flow. When I click on the create a new flow, it's going to take me to my flow, right? And this is looking like this is part of the Office 365. So you see that waffle here? That's exactly what you think. This is exactly the. Let me just type my password one more time. So this is exactly what you think. This is the app, the Office 365. So this action is going to be triggered by the click on that star, okay, on that app. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new step, add a new action, and this new action, I'm going to choose the one that is approval. And among different approvals, I like to use the Office 365 approval. I think that's the most there's another approvals cycles, and we can probably talk about about this in a separate time, in a different time. But this is something that I think is the most convenient. So request an approval email. There you go. So I'm choosing this action, send approval email, and I'd like to send it to. Well, I can actually take it from the actual metadata of the document, but I'm just going to simply send it to myself. I make things easier. Do it here. Send it to myself. Send approval request. And I can actually say approved, reject, or blah, blah, blah. See, I can put anything I want in this regard, because maybe there's a third option that I want to just use and maybe send it some additional request and maybe forward it to someone else. I can then look for this answer and then trigger the next step according to the answer. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to say next step is going to be my condition. And in the condition, I'm going to do the user response. Use the user response. If the user response is equals to, and then I say approve, then I would like to add another action. So if yes, I'm going to do this action, which is going to be an Outlook. and I'm going to simply send myself an email. Well, I can do a lot of things when it's approved. I can trigger something else. I'm just really simply building this so you guys can understand get the how simple it is these days to do that. So send an email. Again, I can use some of the metadata options from the actual document, like send it to a creator of the document or send it to an approver. You can have an approver document. So again, I'm just going to send it to myself for the time being, so just to save some time. I'm going to say approved. Good work. And well, let's just for the sake of the time, let's just now save this flow, and I'm going to say webinar Power Apps button, right? I just say create the flow, save the flow. Now it's saving the flow, and I'm going to say done. All right. So if I just play this, if I play this app, here's the play button here, and we all know what the play button is. So we click on play, and if I go to my like TIG logo, square, right? Square logo of our company. So I see this mouse over. When I mouse over, it's a star. If I click on it, all right. While it's kicking this off, let me show you some of the other synchronizations with the calendar. Okay. When I go back to my project site, we can see that there's a list of tasks and there's a list of the calendars. When I want to talk to you about the calendars. So the calendars are shared. And in a sense, you can actually pull this calendar out of here into your Outlook. Let me show you how to do it. So when you're in this page, when you click on the calendar, go to the calendar. You can say in this calendar, you can say connect to Outlook, right? It's the reason why it's not showing is because I have already connected this one. Let me just show you this example on another project. If I go to completely another site for another project, let's say this is Alex2, right? If I go here and then click on this, go to project site, and then from here I would go to my calendar. And in my calendar, I go to the calendar. You might not have the right permissions. Well, see, when it comes to the real demo, there's some of the challenges that are hidden in the road. So what I can do is basically this is something that when you have the right permissions, you will be able to pull this calendar or into your Outlook, and then when it's in your Outlook, you can see this as additional calendar and synchronize these things between two of you, between the Outlook and the SharePoint. So basically, this gives you the capability of using your own Outlook, having all project level activities, and have them all synchronized between your Outlook and the SharePoint, and then have all the team members being able to tap into this calendar the same way, so they can see the events popping up on a regular basis. Turn my head into my second screen and see if I can find any questions. So can you set up a template folder hierarchy that would be applied with all or some projects? Absolutely, yes. So if I can go to my project side, and I'll show you an easy way to do that. So when you are and actually maybe I should do that from here, from the Chrome. It may actually work better. Give me 1 second. We'll just do it from here as well. So here is connect to Outlook. Okay, at least one thing is not giving a complete dumb. Connect to Outlook. So I click on this. It says Open Outlook 2016. Click on yes. Now it's going to connect the SharePoint calendar to Outlook. This is where you're going to say yes. You look at advanced options. Well, not too much here to tune out, but you're going to say yes. And from now on, you have this 003 Alex1 calendar here. So once you create a new event here, just by using all the Microsoft, all the features, yeah. Well, here based on the calendar settings, you can only read from it. But you can also set up these permissions so you can actually write to it too. So when you do that, then you can, when you create an item here, it pops up into this calendar. So everyone else who is using this calendar will be able to do that, to see that event. All right. So as far as the documents and the folder, Mark, to your question, here I can actually see this is a new way, a new look of looking this more like a more like a OneDrive, right? But I can return to classic SharePoint mode as well to see the way I used to see it. But also, and this is where you can actually get into the mode of looking at this folder like in the Explorer view. So this one you may need to go back to the Explorer and do it from there. Sometimes different browser security settings are not allowing you to do different things. So if you go to the same place here and click on the library and open with Explorer. So what it's going to open is going to open this as Explorer, right? And well, since I already have it synced up with my computer, I can create a new folder structure, put these files in there, and create a new folder, right? And then I can save it as a template. So if I go back and simply just close this one here, just refresh this page over here, I will see the same structure that I just did. See new folders here, and then I can, when I do the save it as a template, this is going to preserve and keep all these documents in place. So how I do that is very simply, when you're at the site, go to Site Settings. This is, I guess, the important part. We go to Site Settings of this very subsite, of this very site where this 003 Alex1 subsite, right? Project site. So I'm going to save site as a template. So click on that, save site as a template. And here I would like to say include content. This is important. So I'm going to put the name and everything. So when you want some of these folders to preserve, to be preserved as a structure, so you may want to save it as a content. You might want to clean up from things that you don't need to be popping up in other projects, but if you want some folder structure or something like that, or maybe some pre-created documents to be there in those folders, you say include a content, put the name. So this option, this template, site template would appear on the other template, other lists of other templates. And then when you creating your project types, you can associate this project type template, site template, with that project type. So next time you create a project, you will use this site. Okay, so that's it. I mean, I wish these items would give me a better. Oh, there you go. There we go. There's something's running here. Okay, good, exciting. So let me see. How about let me see if I can open this one. Well, this one is still not willing to. Maybe I have to go back here and get out of this mode. Just give me 1 second. what does it do here? So this button, action flows. Oh, of course, I just needed to add the action. And yeah, and now it's going to work. Now it's going to work, of course. Well, let's see what did the other workflow did. The other workflow is trying to do something and send an approval email. Okay, so an approval email has been sent. Let's see what we have here. All right, this is the request for your input. Select one of the options below to respond, approve or reject. Remember, the first one we created, and the other one was created. That's the first one that we pushed in. So if I click on approve, I guess what it says, thank you, your response, approve has been successfully registered, right? That's very easy to manage as far as approvals. And this workflow, this flow is actually now sending an email. So it's accepting that and send an email. Okay, send an email. The execution template action, send an email. Skip the branching condition for this action is not satisfied. Okay. Approve. All right. Anyway, that's a quick overview, and I think I have another question before we go. Do all the integrations functions work if you are only using Project Online and not the full Office 365 suite? For example, connections to Outlook, etc. Exchange is separate. Yeah, you don't have to have any particular piece. What you need to have is this flow. I think the flow usually it's part of their bigger license pack, if you will. But only thing you need is really flow. You don't need to have Project Online or Outlook or things like that, because you can see that this actions. If you just add a new action, you can use all kinds of actions like SharePoint, Office, Online. You can use where's this Azure all kinds of connections. Completely non-Microsoft connections are here as well. You can just use the HTTP calls, APIs, and all kinds of extensibility available. And the only thing you need is this flow license to do that. Usually it's part of the P5 license. I mean, I'm not the best at describing the licensing here, but it's usually baked into your enterprise license most of the time. So I hope that answers the question. All right. Any other questions? Yeah, you can. I was thinking to use Exchange distribution list for document approval. You can definitely use that in the flow. So, and you can use the parameters and variables, like all kinds of things. And I'm not using any code to build it, right? So it's just running as I'm asking this. All right, so that's it's unfortunate that this app is not working, but you got the concept, right? So when they push the button, from the app, and the way you would have this app on your phone, if I like when I have my Power Apps here on my phone, I can actually look that new app that we have just built, and if I just say save, I'm going to save this app as a webinar app. Look, this is very interesting. So if I click on this and say, this is my webinar app. And on my phone, right? I mean, I'm just trying to see. See, on my phone, I have this webinar app. This is the one that is at the bottom, So I can push this, make this a pin to home, which means that I am now having my typical my Android phone, right? And I have this icon here. I can if I click on this icon, you see what I see? See what's going to come up? The first time it's going to download this app. The first time it's going to download the app just to be able to log on to it. But when it does, it says webinar app. I don't know if you see it, the webinar app. All right, very cool, right? This is right on my phone, and we just created this right in my app, and I can see. Guess what I see? List of my files from my folder. So I can just quickly, click on some of these files, and I can see the details. I can see my where's the star, right? So I see that this is the star, and I can just push the star. Well, I just put, but that's what we just created within this webinar. I mean, we created a mobile app within less than an hour. Yeah, you may want to say that it's not working app, but still, given the list of documents. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching us, and we will be looking forward to having you on our next webinars next month. We're also presenting in all kinds of Microsoft webinars as well. So again, thank you so much for coming over today, and we wish you the best of luck for the rest of the day, and we'll see you soon. Thanks so much.
Hi there. Well, this is just add on to the webinar video that we just did, and I just wanted to show that we actually just misplaced the one label, and that's why they didn't work. So basically, if I go back here and say generate a new request here, click on the star. Then I go back here, refresh this page here is going to request, going to show that there's another 2 approvals running, and if I click on one of them, and just going to show that the approval is underway and send approval email. So if I look at my, there we go. So this is just a request for input, approve, reject. Remember we put blah 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 in there. So if I click on approve, then it's going to say thank you, and within the workflow says true, and an email was sent, right? It just refreshed itself, and then we get email that good work. Remember we said the good work in that email, so it now completed the workflow. So anyway, again, I can do the same thing from my phone, right? Just clicking that star. Now here I'm doing it in the simulator, but I can kick off this for anyone. Let's say I'm going to do it for this one. Click on that. It will push the email to my email box here, and it would do the trick. So there we go. There's another email, right? Just click on approve, and go back to my email. Now it's going to say another email that's going to say that it's approved, right? And you can use all kinds of metadata to push this to different audiences. All right, I just wanted to add that to the video. So it didn't work live during the webinar, but it's at least we can see that it is working on their Power Apps. Okay. Well, again, thanks, and have a good day.